I actually created an instrument for Aztec Batman. I acquired a bunch of antique turtle shells.
Yeah.
And I built a xylophone out of turtle shells.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. I can show you a picture. You can even put it up if you want.
Welcome to the Warner Brothers lot. Today, we're talking to Ego Plum, the musical mastermind behind Aztec Batman's epic soundscape. I'm Jonathon Buckley, and this is A Lot More. Ego Plum, thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us today.
So happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Really excited to talk to you because I was fortunate. I got the screener of Aztec Batman. Got to have a watch just a few days ago. And I'll tell you straight off the bat, that opening music it grabs you immediately.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm like,
wait,
I'm
you
excited.
haven't seen
I haven't watched the final. Obviously I watch it a ton of times as I'm working.
Yep.
But the final cut, you got to tell me about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's go deep dive into this. By the way, if you're watching this and you haven't seen Aztec Batman yet, just be prepared. There may be a couple of spoilers in here. There may not be, but I'll just give you a heads up just in case. That opening sequence, obviously, you know what I'm talking about. That was fantastic. How did you come up with that?
Wow. So we knew we had to set the tone right away, and it had to be dark and big and bold and a little bit dissonant. Yep. I think we achieved all that. This was a departure for me because I've worked mostly in traditional animation. I'm kind of like known as the cartoon guy, of course, working on Cuphead and SpongeBob and all that stuff. But this was like me being dramatic and serious. So I had to just right from the get-go, just dig into something a little darker and abrasive and a little weird. So that was fun. That opening, I hope, set the tone for the rest of it for sure.
Absolutely. When I watched that, it was before I realized that we'd be talking to you. But as soon as it came on, you realize it had that tone straight away. This is Batman. It's like straight away. Like the aesthetic was different, but it was clearly we're getting into that Batman universe. Did you get to take influences from other Batmans to incorporate into that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we're talking, look, for me, when I was 12 or 13, seeing Tim Burton's Batman was like, it just hit me in the face. Like, this is what I want to do. It's the first time I paid attention to orchestral music. I, of course, grew up with cartoons and that whole influence, but this was like, wow. And I was already a fan of Danny Elfman's work. He was in a band called Oingo Boingo that I really loved. So I knew him. And the fact that this was a guy coming from rock and roll music with no real orchestral background, no proper training, doing this massive orchestral score, it was like, maybe I could do something like this one day. I don't know. But yeah, that to me is the sound of Batman for sure. And of course, Shirley Walker, who was the composer for Batman, the animated series, that sort of big, grand Gothic sound that those two sort of created were a big part of this score, 100%.
Yep.
In addition to sort of building something that feels tribal and primitive of that sort of time, the Aztec times that that's in the film, combining those two things was sort of the big challenge for sure.
How do you capture the sound of, it's the 1500s, am I right?
Yeah.
How do you capture the sounds of 1500s Mesoamerica?
Right. It's like, so this is Mexico, but it's not Mexican music in the way any of us would know. This is Mexican music, essentially. So it's, again, more tribal, more primitive. And it's strange because there's no real sort of historical record of what it sounded like. We know what the instruments were.
I was going to ask.
Right. We know what those were. And I did a lot of research on that, but there was no clear indication of it sounded like this or that way. A lot of people have interpreted it, and it was my job to sort of do the same thing, and feel comfortable doing that as well.
What kind of instruments were kicking around back then?
So stuff with very difficult names to pronounce, teponaxtlis, which were these sort of cylindrical drums, huehuetls, which are these log drums with animal skins on top. There was these Aztec dancers they would call concheros that had seashells wrapped around their legs. And, I was able to acquire a bunch of that stuff and even wrap it around my own legs.
You got some of their instruments?
Yeah. And, I bought some and also found musicians.
I was going to say, it's not like you went down to the museum and said, can I borrow this for the weekend?
People are still creating these instruments, sort of as a... But yeah, I was able to find a bunch of that stuff, including clay whistles and this amazing thing called an Aztec death whistle.
That sounds like my kind of instrument. I need to get one of these.
When I was in Mexico City, maybe a decade ago, I went to Teotihuacan, which is the Pyramid of the Sun.
Yeah.
And there was like little merchants there, and they were selling these little clay whistles. And I got one of them, and it's what I actually use in the film. It's so great, Really awesome.
Could you compare it to a traditional instrument that we might know of?
Oh no, it's horrific. It's like a screeching banshee. It's just like this horrible thing. And I remember recording it just over and over, just different pitches and layering them and sort of adding these thick reverbs and making this sort of horrific, monstrous sound. It was a blast.
Okay, it sounds. I need to hear the sound of this now. The Aztec death whistle. It's become my new favorite instrument just off of the name. So who called you and said, "All right, we're doing Batman, Aztec style"? Yeah. And what was your reaction to that?
Oh, my God. Okay, so I have a friend named Joanne Estewesta who I worked with maybe 10 years ago on a show called Harvey Beaks. And she went on to work at Warner Brothers as a producer. I believe she was on Animaniacs and a few other shows. And she was dear friends with Juan Meza-Leon, the director. She connected us when she found out that Juan was working on this project. And Juan and I just hit it off. He's a great guy. We have a lot in common. We're the same age, sort of similar upbringing, and that was it, man. We just became dear friends, but also like we knew that we could both do this project together. Mm. It's a big part of working when you're going to work with someone for a year and a half.
Is that how long?
I mean, gosh, it seems longer, to be honest.
Yeah.
From our initial meeting, it's been 3 or 4 years. Animation is a really long process.
Yeah.
But, it's important to sort of have a good relationship with the director, like just on a friendly level. It's got to be someone you want to go have a drink with, or, just have social fun times with them. Because if you don't get along well, it's going to be a miserable 15 months or 20 months or whatever it is, So Juan's an amazing guy, and it just totally worked out.
So have you guys managed to sort of develop a friendship now outside of all of this?
We hang out all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, absolutely. We just text each other random silly jokes and memes all the time. So it's really a fun guy.
All right. So when the rubber hits the road and you're like, time to sit down, and excuse me if I sound ignorant because I'm not a composer. I haven't got a musical bone in my body, unfortunately. I wish I could play guitar, but that's another thing. What are the first steps that need to be taken when you start composing something like this?
The first thing I did was create a few demos. I sat there and I started writing unprompted. I was like, hey, I'm just going to start doing some stuff. And I presented it to Juan. And he really loved it. Like I did 5 or 6 different things sort of to demonstrate this direction. And some of the stuff in those original demos ended up in the film itself. Yep. So I feel like I was on the right track from the very beginning. Like I said, combining the sort of the grand, gothic, dark Batman sound with primitive, tribal, very percussive-based elements. And then we went in this whole other direction too, because here's the thing. Cortez arrives to discover the new world, right?
Yes.
And he brings things that had never been seen here before. Even horses, didn't exist. Armor.
Guns.
Gunpowder, of course. So in the score, we wanted to kind of, how do we recreate that? And we used electric guitars. So now we have elements of heavy metal.
Yeah.
Mixing in with the orchestral stuff, mixing in with the tribal, primitive stuff. And it's just all over the place, And it's like, you have to have that confidence. It's almost like, here's the thing. I'm very reverent, like culturally, the importance of what we're doing and the significance. But at the same time, you have to have a level of irreverence and, risk-taking. And like, you know what? It's okay to try different things here. At one point, and I said this at Comic-Con at the panel, I realized, I actually have Aztec blood running through my veins. Like, there's no wrong I could do here. This is actually part of me, sincerely, And so, we took these great risks, and we're really proud of, what we were able to make in the end, for sure.
Because it is a responsibility. There is a responsibility there because there are people that are passionate about some of the topics that are raised in the film.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's historically accurate. I had to go and look up some of it myself to be like, wait a second.
Right.
I've been introduced to this. What is this? And so that is real. So you kind of have to balance that.
Absolutely.
Respecting that, don't you?
Absolutely. I know Warner Brothers and Anima were very careful. They even hired consultants, and even certain shades of blue couldn't be used because that was only reserved for royalty, et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting.
So there's all these considerations, but at the same time, you do have to take these risks.
Yeah.
And as a composer, that was sort of my place. Like, where can I take these chances? And I would push wherever I can because that's just who I am as an artist. I'm not a trained composer. Like, I didn't go to music school. I don't read or write music. I grew up listening to punk rock, to artists that didn't know how to play instruments.
Yep.
That, the charm and the beauty of what they did was that they were just sort of figuring it out as they were going along. And in a lot of ways, I always sort of keep that as one of my philosophies when I'm working. I was the first person to use an orchestra at Nickelodeon, and I had never actually written orchestral music. And you have sheet music. That doesn't mean anything to me, but I know how to compose. I know how to invent melodies and create counter melodies and everything. So, I love being put in those positions where like taking a risk, stuff I've never done outside my comfort zone. I love that stuff.
Running an orchestra, that seems highly complex.
It is, but if you break it down, it's not that insane. If you have 50 musicians, let's say a string orchestra, if you break it down to first violin, second violins, violas, cellos, double basses, it's really just 5 things. Now, if you think of it in terms of a rock band, like the first and second violins could be the singer and a harmony, a guy doing harmonies. The violas could be, rhythm guitar, cello, basses maybe, or double basses. So, you could, I think in those terms, in pop terms, because that's my background. I just, listen to the Beatles and that kind of stuff. And that's sort of my reference to how to write music.
You've had a pretty broad career when it comes to music, but as you mentioned, you're considered the cartoon composer.
Sure.
Was that an active choice, or is it something that you really like to do? Is it something that you're really passionate about?
Growing up, the thing that influenced me the most was those Warner Brothers Looney Tunes. This stuff. And for a lot of people that grew up watching that, you're subconsciously taking it all in. You're learning classical music, and it's all because of Carl Stalling, the musical director for Warner Brothers Looney Tunes. Brilliant genius who put so much music in my radar and made me made me realize this is what I want to do. When I got older, 10, 11, 12, I saw Rugrats, Pee-wee's Playhouse, and that stuff was a big influence as well because that were the seeds of the composers that I really started to admire, people like Danny Elfman, Mark Mothersbaugh, a group called The Residents who did music for Pee-wee as well. And all that stuff became part of my language. So I became very focused on, I want to work on strange, quirky, weird cartoons. This is the world I want to live in. I have this short attention span. So 11 minutes, you got 50 different moods within 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Currently, I do work for SpongeBob as well. And that is totally crazy. You go from heavy metal to classical to a polka all within seconds.
Yeah.
And I love that stuff. But this film was a total challenge, a total departure. All of a sudden had to be serious and dramatic and scary.
Yeah.
Dissonant and all these things. So, boy, it really took me out of my comfort zone. And in a way where even Juan, the first demos, Juan's like, I don't know, man, this is maybe a little too whimsical what you're doing. I'm like, damn it, and I'd go back to the drawing board. Let's try this again. And eventually, I hit on the right things. And he's such a great director. He's able to, he knows when it's right. Mm-hmm. And we got there together. And yeah, we did it. I forgot what the question was already, but I think
that's all right. We're getting there. This is all very interesting, because I love your passion about this sort of stuff.
Thank you.
And I do get the sense, even from just taking a look at you online, that you've kind of got that quirky, creative sort of inspiration.
Thank you.
Behind you. You noticed that you in your bio you said you weren't classically trained, and the only class you ever took was tap dancing class.
That's true. I took a tap dancing at ELAC, East LA College.
Yeah.
Which was really fascinating because, my first instrument was drums.
Yep.
I always thought, I'm a drummer. I could totally tap dance. But I was completely humbled when you got there because you have to activate certain groups of muscles that you never really used. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot do this. It was so fun. But dancing is wonderful. I wish I knew how to dance and I want to do it more. That's sort of like the final frontier for me. I want to be able to do that more. Physically moving is so awesome.
I feel like tap dancing is a little bit of a lost art right now.
It's
like, I feel like we could do with a tap dancing revival, a few more sequence and a few more tippity tap. I don't know.
I agree. I'm with you.
I had to ask because... I do get that sense that you're a quirky guy. I wanted to ask about your orchestra. The Ebola Orchestra.
Oh my God, yeah. The Ebola Music Orchestra was a band that I formed in my 20s.
Yeah.
It was like a dozen guys playing this very quirky, carnivalesque punk rock music.
Yeah.
And this is sort of what I did for a decade in my 20s, still, working my day job.
Yep.
Before I became like a composer, working composer. It was a lot of fun. It was expensive to do, logistically a nightmare because, putting horn players and everyone together to do these shows, everyone just sort of doing it because they love it and it's fun. It was great. And honestly, it's something that if I wasn't working as a composer, I would still be doing. It's a blast. I love performing live. It's
So you
something
still like to play.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that I would still be doing.
What was the name of the show? It was like Disease something or other, or what was it?
The band was called Ego Plum and the Ebola Music Orchestra.
That was okay.
That was it. So it was a blast. Maybe one day I'll do another show again. just for
Yeah,
fun.
the pandemic's behind us now, so
it won't be as offensive, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it won't be as offensive anymore. That's awesome. Good on you.
Oh my God! Thank you for asking about that. So silly.
It's been a while. Wait, what did you play in the?
I played xylophone on that.
Oh, okay. So that's why that. Yeah.
I don't know if maybe I could mention this. I actually created an instrument for Aztec Batman. I acquired a bunch of antique turtle shells from around the country, actually.
Yeah.
And I built a xylophone out of turtle shells.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. I can show you a picture. You can even put it up if you want, or you give you a video of me playing it.
No,
but
I'd
we
love
use
to
that
see
in
it,
the
yeah.
score. Hi, my name is Ego Plum. This is the turtle xylophone I made for the Aztec Batman score. Check it out. It's like a dozen of them. They all have different pitches. I was checking for tonality and all that. It's a bit dissonant.
Where did you get the shells from?
I acquired them. They're all very old, like antique, like taxidermy stuff that you could find some weird old shops. I found enough of them where I was able to build this thing out of PVC pipes and sort of tie them all up and display them nicely so that they play.
That's
pretty crazy.
Have you got a history of building xylophones? Is that something that?
No, but it was something that I wanted to do for this film. It's like, unless we talked about it, no one would even know. So it's
but that's kind of awesome. There's like literally nobody, unless you want to go out and build a turtle xylophone. Like no one's going to be able to recreate the sound of Aztec Batman.
I know, that's true. So there we go.
This is awesome. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Thank you.
I'm really enjoying getting to know you and finding out a little bit more about who you are and what makes you tick. The film is finished, but you haven't seen it.
Correct.
Are you excited? Are you nervous to view it for the first time?
So excited and nervous. All the above. It's just wonderful feelings all around. This is such a big deal for me. Being a part of Batman's such an important, iconic, part of pop culture.
Yep.
I don't take it lightly. This is a serious responsibility for all of us.
Yep.
And again, just completely feel privileged and honored to be a part of it.
And it's a whole new story from the ground up too.
Yeah.
Like you're retelling the story of Batman's origin. You're telling the story, again, spoiler, Two-Face and Joker are in there as well. And so along with many others as well. So you're right at the ground floor of this. It's like I feel like there's a long way to go with this potentially.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed, right?
Okay. All right. Well, I want to just run through some quick questions for you. We've got a little sort of a rapid fire. I'm just going to fire them out. Feel free to answer as long or as short as you like. All right.
Sure.
Favorite film score of all time?
Wow, man.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Let's start with Psycho. Bernard Herrmann's score to Psycho.
Yep.
All those strings.
Yep.
Incredible. That is so wild. I could give you like a underrated score that nobody really thinks about.
Yes.
But the composer Wendy Carlos did the music for Tron. The first Tron.
The first.
Yeah.
And
this is like is that 80s Disney, like the first?
Oh, you're talking about the original one, not the new
Tron.
one that was Daft
that's,
Punk.
That's Daft Punk. Before that, a composer named Wendy Carlos did this beautiful, insane score combining electronics and orchestral elements.
Yep.
Same composer that did Clockwork Orange for Stanley Kubrick.
Wow. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that stuff. Any sort of experimental type score that's doing new things. Best. Yeah.
All right. Okay. This one I'm passionate about. Favorite movie soundtrack album?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, like if I want to listen to something fun, it's got to be something like and this is not necessarily a score, but it's a soundtrack, like listening to Pulp Fiction.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So soundtrack album, because there's like Pulp Fiction is kind of like one of the
Absolutely.
probably one of my favorites of all.
Yeah. Between that and Kill Bill, it's like, you don't have to have an original score in a film to make it really good. It could be amazing songs, and you have directors that know how to pick songs like that. You can make a perfect score. A perfect soundtrack for your project.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Pulp Fiction it is. So for number one, Pulp Fiction, I've got listed here Drive. I don't know if you remember that. But Lost Highway.
Oh my God, yes.
The Crow, original Crow was.
I got to go back and watch that.
Well
again.
worth it.
Yeah,
Cruel Intentions was one of my favorite. The
haven't seen it.
Cruel Intentions. Oh, these are just albums though. So, all right, you're alone in your car.
Yeah.
You're driving over here to do a podcast with us, and you want to blow off some steam. What are you putting on the stereo?
There's this great new punk band from Australia called The Chats. They're these obnoxious young guys, early 20s, just really like a bit grating and annoying, but I just love it so much. The Chats is a great Australian punk band that I've been listening to a lot. Another band called Soft Play from England, another punk band.
Okay.
It's like a two-piece punk band. Any of the stuff that's like the opposite of what I do is so much fun to listen to.
So that's what you tend to gravitate towards.
Yeah. Just the sort of fun, aggressive punk rock stuff is just like...
I'm going to have to look into the Chats. I'm a bad Australian. Okay. You're in your high school musical orchestra.
Okay.
And you have to spend the entire run of the show playing a percussion instrument. Which percussion instrument do you choose?
So, I guess I would pick the xylophone. Does that count, right? Yeah.
That
yeah,
counts.
Absolutely.
I just got stuck on the triangle when I was young, and that was not a lot to do.
My God. I'm sorry.
A couple of hits every show.
Right.
Bing.
Right.
All right. If your music that you create was an animal, what animal would it be?
Ooh. Oh, my God. Okay.
That's a very random question.
Let's go with...
There's no wrong answer here, by the way.
Let's go with... what's that weird little looking, like... It's a Mexican little, like, lizard fish thing.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Somebody help us out here. It's the...
Mexican lizard fish?
It's like this thing with a really cute face.
We'll add the answer in. Can we add the answer in post?
Sure.
Oxalotl.
A what?
Oxalotl? Does that sound right to anyone?
I would not have.
Axolotl?
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about.
That's it?
It's Oxalotl. Grace.
Yeah,
coming in
that's
for
the
win.
one. That's
there
the
you
one.
go. Okay, perfect. Good choice. You know I'm going to be Googling that right after this to see that out. All right. Last question. Favorite iteration of Batman so far?
Well, of course we have to say Aztec Batman, but
Of course.
I'm going to be honest. Batman 66, that Adam West Batman is so fun and so charming and weird. I just that's like comfort food to me, putting on the old Batman episodes. Yep. I mean, that's a blast to me, for sure. What can I say?
Yep, fair enough. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in to sit down with us.
Oh, of course. But I want to say a few more things before we're done.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
important. Number one, I want to just talk about Danny Elfman a little bit, because the Batman theme, to me, honestly, is as the theme that he wrote for the 88 Batman film, to me, is like as important as his outfit, and I was able to incorporate that into Aztec Batman. I wrote Danny a letter, sort of explaining the idea, and there's this big reveal, et cetera, et cetera. And I felt comfortable doing that and approaching him because I had talked to him years previously, because I was at his house and he had just finished Justice League.
Yeah.
And I said, Danny, I noticed you used John Williams' Superman theme in Justice League here. Why did you do that? And he said to me, well, again, kind of like what I was thinking. He says that theme is as important as the red tights on Superman, And I go, how did you get permission? He said, I just wrote to John Williams, and and he got the blessing. So fast forward to us making this film, I just did the exact same thing. I wrote to Danny, wrote this long letter, and he wrote back one sentence: "Sounds great, do it."
No way. So that's how that came about?
That's how that started. And then, of course, we have to go through the legal stuff with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And do all that. But, yeah, eventually we got those 5-6 notes that we all love that we all know.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 in this film, too. So that was super exciting to me.
Well, and I know that you mentioned that he was one of your inspirations.
Of course.
With Ongo Bongo. Have you managed to maintain a rapport with Danny?
Yeah. I mean, just enough where I could send him a message like this and ask him, hey, can we do this?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And, I'll see him certain places. I'll wave hello.
Would you be asking for feedback on something?
I'd be too nervous to ask him.
Isn't it funny when you heroes like that?
Yeah.
It's just like, it doesn't matter. Even if you were friends, you'd still be nervous.
I'm still like a fan first. I don't feel like a colleague. I still feel like, oh my God, all these people that I love, it's really great.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm super excited for the film. I can't wait for it to be released. I'm sure that you guys are having a lot of fun right now as this ramps up because it's coming out very soon. We've got only just a few more days. We're like 6 days. Right. Yeah. It's released in Mexico in theaters, I believe.
Yes.
Which is cool. Will you be going down for any screenings?
I wish I could. I'm going to be here. I'm doing a Q&A over at Alley Live for that one little screening. And I wish I could, but I'm here working.
All right. Well, have the best time with it, and I can't wait to hear more of your work in upcoming Aztec Batman films.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ego.
Tremendous honor. Thank you all.